be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be is when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done. Make money, help people, and have lots of fun. Whoa.
Welcome to Office Hours, hosted by legendary sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor David Meltzer, where the brightest entrepreneurial minds in business, sports, and entertainment get together to talk about success, failure, and everything in between.
I think a lot of people are burnt out not because they're doing too much. I think a lot of us are burnt out because we're doing too little of the things that really matter.
Essentially, to move on to be the next version of yourself, some aspect or some pattern has to die.
I think the inconsequential moments are the most crucial moments because they actually do have consequences.
Take a deep dive into the mind of some of the world's most impactful guests.
Just throw yourself into things head first and give it your all. Failure is part of the course.
All of us are committed to living a service-driven life, to leave the planet in better shape than how we found it. And I think that as much as we've chosen this path with our lives, that we were chosen for this.
To share their strategies and tools to dominate their respective fields.
You cannot lead people at something you've never done if you've never done it. It just doesn't work.
Understanding that we live in a place in consciousness where there are no limits.
Because everything that's ever happened to you has actually happened in your favor.
David Meltzer hosts Office Hours.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday training. It is BYOQ. You bring the questions, I'll bring the answers. One of my favorite things is to learn what people are listening for. And we're here in Dallas at the AmpCon, and that's exactly what we're doing. We will be doing a SoFi Stadium mastermind. Come and join us in SoFi Stadium for a mastermind with some of the biggest names and brains in the world to be of service and value. So we are going to get started. Let's get our questions rocking and rolling here, getting people outside. Let's see the comments. There we go. Get the questions coming. We will be going live on Clubhouse in about 15 minutes as well. Good morning. Who has our first question? I'll start with this one. What is your definition of greatness? So for me, it's a desire that you must be what you can be. With all the millionaires, billionaires, entrepreneurs, celebrities, athletes, and entertainers that we deal with, the definition of greatness is those people that do their best, learn lessons, and have fun under the context of, that's right, having a desire that you must be what you can be. And would love to be able to expand on that idea. Most people don't understand the difference between the idea of that desire and being an empty miler compared to an extra miler. When we talk about doing our best, learning lessons, and having fun, that doesn't mean that you give 100% all the time, because that's an impossibility. But what it does mean is you're committed to consistent behavior. And you'll find that 90% of your success comes from what you're committed to every single day. It's more physics in nature than even an ethereal, subjective way of doing things. All right, let's take the next question here. What's the difference between feeling fear and being scared? So fear, so interesting. I'm sorry. So fear is from a variety of places. I always say that I analyze the reaction to fear. If you're scared, that's a specific type of fear. You may be fearful, but not scared. And so many people spend so much time trying to figure out what they're afraid of. When you're scared, that's in reaction to fear. I am scared, just like I am angry. I am resentful. I am guilty. I am separate. I am inferior. I am superior. All of these different things are the reaction to fear is being scared. And thank you for allowing me to kind of work this out because I've never thought of it before. I think the difference between fear and scared is fear is from past lives, from your womb trauma, toddler, infant trauma, to teenage trauma, to 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s trauma, where the reaction to fear is being scared. And being scared can be all of those things: anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, resentful, separate, inferior, superior, frustrated, worried, etc. are forms of scared or scarcity, that you're not protected, promoted, and loved, that somehow there's not enough. That's an excellent question. And I love that. Thank you. Allowed me to make my own advancements. Let's see. If you can only read one book for the rest of your life, what book would that be? It would be the Tao, the 81 verses of the Tao, Tao. And so for me, it would be the 81 verses of the Tao that I would read every single day. Next would be A Course in Miracles. Next would be a long list: Think and Grow Rich. It would be Wayne Dyer, Power of Intention. But for sure, the one book, if I could only have one, it would be the Tao, 81 verses that most religions were based off of. Most tenets of life are based off of the 81 lessons of the Tao. So another great question. Let's go back here. Thank you for all the questions, by the way. I really appreciate it. What's something you bought for under $100 that's had the greatest impact on your life? Where are these questions coming from? They're so good. All righty. Wow, that's a great question. I'm gonna have to think of one of the things that I bought for under $100 that had the greatest impact on my life. I would probably say a book, and I would, yeah, maybe my subscription to Audible. So, because I think the books, it's that would have to be it. I'm trying to think of an item that's had an impact on my life for under $100. My putter. I'm kidding. That's a good question. It would have to be a book. I'm trying to think of an item that's just so indicative of why material goods are not that valuable or impactful, because I can't think of a material good. I can only think of a material good that incorporates ideas, like a gratitude journal or a book that I bought or an audio book. Yeah, or some type of subscription that I had to a bunch of content. So Those are things that had the most impact. So I think the greater lesson is to understand that, the power of ideas, the power of thoughts and feelings are far greater than the material items that you can buy. The material items may contain the ideas, but to have impact, it has to be intentional with elevating what you do or aligning what you do, say, think, feel, and believe. If there was an item that helped me to accelerate, aggregate, and compound exponentially the outcomes aligned with what I think, say, do, believe, and feel, then it would have great value to that. How can we distinguish if it's an intuition or anxiety? Well, one's a reaction to fear, and intuition is that which invokes the reaction to fear. And so for me, intuition allows us to utilize intelligence and inspiration in order to facilitate the lessons, the divine detours that get us in the divine direction in the divine time. And so for me, intuition is when something resonates with us, and anxiety is the reaction to what resonates with us. Those are really, really good. Keep them coming, guys. Thank you so much. We got a lot of them here pouring into us. I appreciate everybody pouring into these. What's the key difference between intention and attention? This is a great question. So attention is what we focus in on. Intention is what we do, say, think, feel, and believe in alignment what we're focused in on in the circumstances of today, learning from the past in order to be in a divine direction or trajectory or this movement towards alignment of where we want to be or better. And so the difference is you need to pay attention, know what you want, who you want to help, who can help you, and how to get it done. Pay attention to that, and then align your intention into the 24 hours of the day, taking in consideration all the infinite variables that exist. So infinite time, infinite space, infinite possibilities, the multiverse, in other words. If you take into consideration that, you'll see that what I pay attention to, plus what I give intention to in the context of 24 hours a day and infinite time in that trajectory, according to the circumstances of the day and the lessons of the past, the attention that you pay and the intention that you give will equal the results, consequences, coincidences, outcomes in your life. Whether you understand or know it is a whole nother thing. That just because you get consequences, results, outcomes, and coincidences that you didn't think you wanted doesn't mean that it isn't a divine detour to get you to a better place, a better position, under the context of the wisdom that you gather and the faith that you possess, that there's something bigger than you protecting, promoting, and loving you. That faith allows you to have divine direction with divine detours in divine time. And so understanding the difference between attention and intention provides us the mathematical equation of luck, which is what you pay attention to, what you give intention to, think, say, do, feel, and believe, will equal the coincidences, consequences, results, outcomes in your life to get you to a better place, a better position, a better situation of your life. Here we go. Can you explain plateau and grow? There we go. So they're talking about us on the Clubhouse. Can you explain plateau and grow? So a lot of people, they live their life like Kim Hughes the Stranger. They push a boulder to the top of the hill just to have it roll down to the bottom of the hill. And so they live their lives like tubes, food in, excuse my language, food out. And so if you do that, you will always be in the same place. You'll feel stuck. What we want to do is create a baseline that we can grow from, a plateau each day. Incremental commitment to incremental, consistent growth, expansion in an expanding universe allows us to wake up every morning at a new plateau, a new baseline. And now we use that to understand that if we go below that baseline, below that plateau, instead of trying to resist it, go over it, under it, through it, around it, lie to it, manipulate it, cheat it, or deny it, we just stop. So we stop when we go below our new plateau, and we breathe, we recollect, remember, and remind ourselves of not only the plateau, but of our source, so that we can become a resource in order to effectuate a bigger, better, and more efficient way to do things. So if each day we're plateauing and growing, we will have a new higher plateau or a new higher baseline every day to get us to where we want to be or better. And so being able to do that is really important, but it contains the 5 daily practices of knowing what you want each day, according to the circumstances and the lessons, circumstances of today and the lessons of the past, to be able to grow every day. Knowing who we want, who we can help, and who can help us, which is the key to getting to where we want to be, right? The only 2 ways you can get to where you want to be: ask someone who's already there for help, or help someone get to where they want to be. I promise you, those are the ways that we get to where you want to be or better. And so understanding that this allows us, the 5 daily practices, to prioritize our day based off of a new baseline of what we do and how we do it is essential in the plateau and growth strategy. All right, everyone, we're going to be joined by here, the community itself.
Thank you for showing up here every single day, Friday. Thank you for the
Here we go. We're going to get started with StreamYard. We got Nick of the WOM going to be hosting us as well. Bring your questions. We'll bring the answer. And
so thank you so much. And I can't wait to hug your neck. See you again sometime in the near future. We only live a few miles away. We're both so busy. We got to make it happen. But everybody, and this is Breakfast Champions, where we do one thing alone. We want to help you make your lives better. Founded by Glenn Lundy, now led by Marilyn Wilkin, we want to provide you motivation, education, inspiration, so you can be the best version of yourself. You're hearing the voice of Ramon Ray, publisher of ZoneOfGenius.com. I've been hanging with my friend, my mentor, somebody I learned from quite a bit. I love hanging with. We're dialed in so closely together on so many things. Scott Simons, investor, entrepreneur, leader at Carter Myers Automotive. And with that, stand up on your feet. Put your hand together. Take out your birthday little the thing you blow and it comes out there, the confetti and all that. This is now a whole new show starting now at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. David Meltzer and crew. Nick and David, I turn the mic over to you.
Oh, it's poetic. As always, Ramon, and you are a blessing, and I cannot wait to see you very soon. We are 2 birds that fly by each other, helping others, and part of it is being here and reuniting with Scott every Friday, and it's the commitment to the consistent behavior, whether it's Mary Lynn, Glenn, you, myself, or even young Nick of WOM, the well-oiled machine. We are in Dallas today, so it's 8 a.m. here, not the normal 6 a.m. on the Pacific time, or 9 a.m. in Eastern time. And we are blessed to be at AmpCon with some amazing people, some friends of ours, the amazing Renee Rodriguez, Derek Fay. Of course, we have the Flex Lewis, my main man, 7-time Mr. Olympia, and many, many more, sharing mindset, heart set, and handset. What we're going to do today is what makes us all great, and it's finding out what people are listening for. One of the things early in my speaking career is I love to be on stage and give speeches and let people know and listen to me. And thinking that that would make the most difference in their life is to listen to me and what I think they need to know or want to know, or what I think can help them grow. But instead, what I've learned is the most valuable thing I can do is listen for, and to learn to listen for what other people want, because I want to provide value. And there's only 2 ways to provide value: give people more of what they want or take away what's interfering with what they want. And so in order to do that, you got to learn and you got to listen. And it's overused, but I love cliches because they mean they're true. If they've withstood the test of time, one of the cliches that I want to establish, I hope that in 100 or 1,000 years, it'll be a cliche when people say, I'm either humble or I'm about to be. But what people are listening for is how you create these cliches, these committed, consistent things that work throughout time, understanding human nature and the way that we grow and plateau. But we're going to do BYOQ. That's bring your own questions, and I'll bring the answers. We're always available for you. But before we get started, as usual, we have the Nick of WOM with us. That's a well-oiled machine at 23. This guy knows more about time than anyone I know. Nick, why don't you set the room and we'll get started with BYOQ.
Beautiful, and happy Friday, everybody. Of course, we are here for the BYOQ Power Hour with the one and only David Meltzer. So as you have your questions today, of course, if you are joining us online, make sure to be putting those in the chat. If you're live here on Clubhouse, please use the hand icon in the lower right-hand corner of the screen to request to join the stage, and we will, of course, aim to bring you up. If you are live here on Clubhouse and already on stage, if you have a question for David, please just put a little comment in the room chat there so I can make sure to pass it over your way. And as David mentioned, we are in Dallas today with so many incredible friends for AmpCon 2024. But in terms of some of the upcoming opportunities, always want to make sure to highlight those so everybody in our abundant community can join us in person. Starting off with next week, Tuesday, August 20th, we are going to be in Los Angeles, California at the one and only SoFi Stadium for a mastermind. We have everybody from the multi-platinum recording producer Major to John Coyle and so many other friends that are going to be joining us. So if you would like to join us for that, feel free to reach out to David directly, david@dmeltzer.com. But more importantly, make sure you join the text community so you get the reminders on where David's going to be. And that is just 949-298-2905. And that, of course, can be found in the room chat. And then the following week, on the 26th and 27th of August, we will be in Orange County, completing the filming of season 6 of David's TV show, 2 Minute Drill, and hosting a VIP dinner. So many incredible friends, whether it's Edwin Arave and Brock Davies and Roy Kataya and Jason Waller, the baller, and so many more. So if you'd like to join us, you know where to reach out. And then, of course, that Wednesday, August 28th, we will be in Nashville, putting on our cowboy boots once again for a summer luau with James Maslow and Michael Chandler, Landon Dirickson, and so many other friends. So please, everybody, these are invitations, not obligations. All you have to do is reach out. David@dmeltzer.com, or just join the text community so you get the reminders, 949-298-2905. Now, with that said, let's get rocking and rolling. We're going to take the next question live here on Clubhouse. And I see we have Colleen who is patiently waiting. So Colleen, it's great to see you. Happy Friday. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask away.
Thank you, Nick. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Dave, my question is about manifestation. So in really trying to do a deep dive in these questions to ask myself and reflect, one of the questions that keeps coming up is the difference between growth and expansion. Can you talk to the difference between the two and what I should be looking for?
Yeah, and thank you for, you're the new Serafina. Serafina used to ask me questions that nobody else had asked. And earlier we were doing the BYOQ on the webinar, and you had asked me the difference between fear and being scared. And through asking the question, I realized that fear causes us to be afraid. And the reaction to fear is actually scared. And I thought that was one of the best questions I've been asked in a long time that brought clarity to what I articulate and how I articulate it, because I teach this reaction to fear. And so growth and expansion, growth is limited. Expansion is infinite. And I know that's one of the differences, that we can grow, but expansion takes into account, you can grow within a construct of man. You can grow, but it's limited. Expansion is unlimited. And for me, that's what defines the difference, is that growth is a process of expansion. Expansion is the whole. Understanding that the universe is always expanding. Why? Because we can't understand, fathom, or know the infinite. Infinite is endless. It's the multiverse. No matter what you think, and when your brain hurts when you think of expansion, it doesn't when you're growth. We can quantify growth. I don't think you can quantify expansion. And so the major difference between the two is growth is quantitative and man-made, expansion is infinite. And so we want to see how much are we growing within the context of the expanding, infinite, abundant, unified system of thought in which we are all incorporated and reconciled into. And so for me, I use growth as a measurement and expansion as the entire universe. And knowing that I don't know or can't even understand expansion to the degree of the infinite nature of expansion, but I can quantify growth. And so I know that, I grew an inch, or I can lift this much more, or I made this much more money, or whatever the growth I can. But expansion is infinite. It's in its nature, and it sets the context or the pretext to growth. I'll work through that more, but hopefully that's a good starting point for people to distinguish between.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. And thank you for the question about fear and being scared, because I definitely going to use that. And like I said, I'm listening for things that I can do research on and understand better, and then hopefully through practice articulate in a manner that more people resonate with the distinctions and the help that we're giving them. All right, Nickawam, who is up next?
Absolutely. Let's keep this train rocking and rolling with another live question here from Clubhouse. It's been a few weeks, but our good friend Brent is back here joining us live. So Brent, it's great to see you. Happy Friday. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask David your question. Welcome.
Happy Friday, all. Happy Friday, David. Love you guys. Love you guys a lot. Really, really happy to be here. So my question is, it's something that there's a takeaway from the Monday coaching call about even detours are divine. So we, as a, young entrepreneurial in my journey here, in the real world, so to speak, just understanding all these things, the management of time is just huge. And I know that it's a big on you, David, and, the consistent, persistent pursuit of what we want, the focus, right? So divine detours, that sounds like a little shiny object thing. It's something I struggle with, just wanting to do everything and accomplish everything. How do we bring it back into, our mission and our goal? That would be awesome to understand. So, and thank you. And good morning. Happy Friday, all.
Good morning. Thank you so much. And the way that we reconcile that is understanding our 5 daily practices. So divine detours allow us to illustrate 2 things: wisdom and faith. Divine detours is our enlightened faith and wisdom that I don't understand or know why this is happening. It doesn't seem to be aligned with where I want to be or better. In fact, it seems almost impossible to be aligned with where I want to be or better. But yet, through my wisdom and faith, I know that it is divine in its detour to get me to a better place, a better position, a better situation. And so the only way that I can reconcile that faith and wisdom is through practice of what I want today, personally, experientially, giving and receiving according to the circumstances of today. So the circumstances of today are a reality of man-made constructs that exist in my perception. And so therefore, I want to take into account what I want with the actual circumstances of the 24 hours, because I know that the next 24 hours, things are going to change. And the minute I make a decision or I decide or agree in the divine detour, then time, emotion, and value will change within even the 24 hours that I exist. But in a framework we need to have as human beings, that when these divine detours happen, which is defined as things that I don't want to happen or think could happen or get me to where I want to be or better, I then have to seek wisdom in the past to align with the faith that I'm being protected, promoted, and loved tomorrow or in the future. And so divine direction is a perception of what I believe in practicing each day to get better, to decide upon how to use my time with non-negotiables and negotiables, planned and unplanned, paid for and unpaid for, and my sleep to get me to a better place, a better position, and a better situation to in my world, make a lot of money to help a lot of people and have a lot of fun, to enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of my potential, my best. And in order to do that, you need to believe in divine direction, divine detour, and divine time. But you need to be ferocious each day to do your best, learn lessons, and have fun. And if you can learn those two, you'll be a ferocious Buddha. You'll be able to understand this shiny object analogy that you utilize in order to incorporate a reality for yourself that is enjoyable, it's happy, and it's fulfilling, and it's passionate, and it's purposeful, and it's profitable. And with that purpose being greater than the pain, you will, if your purpose is greater than your pain, you will always perceive the things that you don't want to happen or can't imagine how they're helping you as helping you. And these practices, these 5 daily practices of knowing your what, your who, your how, knowing your now, because if you know what to do now and know what to do next, it will get rid of procrastination and feeling overwhelmed. It also will make you more efficient, effective, and statistically successful. But most importantly, instead of searching for what you don't have, what you don't want, or searching for what other people want or other people don't have or other people have, you simply will be searching for nothing, because you will be applying your why, not searching for it. And if you want to apply your why, if you want to be a resource, then use the 5 daily practices, believe in divine direction, divine detours, and divine time, but do your best, learn lessons, and have fun each day. And I promise you, you will have the passion, purpose, and profitability that you desire. What a great question, Brent. I appreciate it. They're bringing it, all these things that I'm listening for. We are at the quarter mark of 8:15 here in Dallas at AmpCon. Nick of Juan, reset the room and take another question.
Absolutely. Just a quick reset of the room, everybody. Of course, this is the BYOQ Power Hour with the one and only David Meltzer. You bring the questions, he brings the answers. So for everybody that is joining us live online, make sure to keep submitting those questions into the chat. And for everybody live here on Clubhouse, not only continue to invite all of our friends, family, colleagues, anybody that we believe would benefit from this incredible conversation, as of course we always want to continue to expand our community. But of course, if you do have a question today, make sure to use that hand icon on the lower right-hand corner of the screen to request to join the stage. And of course, if you are already on stage, if you wouldn't mind just putting a quick note in the room chat, I'll be happy to pass along the mic your way. But with that said, let's keep this train rocking and rolling. I see Chima has been patiently waiting here on stage. So it's great to see you, my friend. Happy Friday. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask away. Oh, it looks like Chima may be having some technical difficulties, so I will work with him on that. But one human that is one of our favorites, and we had the pleasure of breaking bread with last night, the one and only Coach Jimmy is in the house. Jimmy, it's great to see you, my friend. You unmuted early because you knew I was coming your way. Feel free to go ahead and ask away. Happy Friday.
Nick, great to see you. Dave, great to see you last night. Those of you listening to this, you've got to get to one of these meetups. Like, find a spot when these people are getting in rooms and your life will change. That being said, Dave, I thought it was really interesting last night at dinner. A topic that kept coming up was people's relationship with money. And what I want, so often when you hear people's success stories, it came from them making an investment or spending money or doing something when they really didn't have it. And they always talk about that story keeps coming back around. And even in your own situation of making money and losing money, if somebody finds themselves in that situation where they know they want to make an investment or they know the next step is going to cost them money that may not have, what did they have to shift, or what did you have to shift in your mind about, hey, I know I physically don't see it right now, but that idea of stepping out in faith, knowing that that investment is going to get you where you want to go eventually?
Yeah, that is a really great lesson, Jimmy, because I see people do it all the time. They'll tell me, Dave, I don't know why you would charge for that. I don't know why I should have to pay for that. I don't know why I can't afford that. And for me, it's one, guaranteeing value. So I can tell you that these are investments, guaranteed investments. So the first step is to know your timing and risk tolerance. And if your timing and risk tolerance is 0, then you're not going to make the investment into it. You'll keep on spending money on things that don't matter, and to make you feel good that you can, go and buy a $24 martini instead of investing into a coaching program or a VIP dinner or a mastermind. And so, number one, the people that don't invest in their future and tell themselves that they don't have enough just don't know their timing and risk tolerance. And make sure that if you make an investment, it's aligned with your timing and risk tolerance. I make people guarantee the way that I guarantee. So there has to be some guarantee of value. And if it doesn't align with my timing and risk tolerance, and the guarantees aren't aligned with the timing and risk tolerance, then I don't make those investments. But if you're not going to invest in yourself, what are you ever going to invest in? A car? Even a home? If you invest in yourself, you can afford all the cars and all the homes that you want. Trust me, I've done it twice in my life. And in the idea, most people don't know their timing and risk tolerance, and most people don't ask for a guarantee aligned with their timing and risk tolerance. And so if you look at every successful person, they have, with wisdom and faith, invested in themselves and followed the committed, consistent behavior that creates persistence, and they don't quit. In this philosophy, and I'll use and share last night, Jimmy, one of the things we talked about last night is investing, right? Giving, and then elevating your awareness to all that you're given, and then being worthy of receiving it, and then asking for more. That allows you to have more, so you can give more, be given more, receive more, ask for more than more, give more than more, be given more than more, receive more than more, and ask for more than more. That's the idea of what you're talking about, aligned with the timing and risk tolerance, a reality of today. Asking for guarantees aligned with your timing and risk tolerance. And so most people go through life and they will give, but they are not aware of all that they're given, or they're not worthy of receiving, and they have no faith that there's more than enough of everything, and so they don't ask for more. All three of those things. And so take, for example, Derek Fay, who is close to being a billionaire, if not a billionaire already, who suffered a flight. Just talking about Derek Fay, and he walks in with his boy Matt. What's up, D? I was just telling his story. So Derek told a story last night where most of my friends that lived in Southern Florida suffered from a hurricane that came through and flooded everything. And he was talking about how he had all this damage to his home and to his cars. And the amazing thing is that instead of feeling punished like so many other people, he looked to see what he was given. What opportunities he was given. And so in order to help people, he started calling the companies that do disaster recovery and calling the cities that needed disaster recovery and setting up with those companies donations to the cities for that recovery, and also creating business for them to help his friends recover, and asking for his time, a percentage of the $80 million that they made. And so although he suffered $3.5 million of loss, he ended up making $8 million, raising millions of dollars for the city and helping all his friends. There's a person, and Jimmy, I know you were there to hear all the facts of that story. All that said to me was, hey, Derek Fay is someone that gives, but he's also aware of all that he's given. He's also worthy of receiving it, and he asked for more to create more abundance. Everybody won. If he would have sat at home like everybody else in Naples, Florida, crying about how he lost his home and his cars and how he only had a $250,000 coverage on $3 million of damage, and he would have felt punished, instead of having wisdom and faith and creating all that he was given. This is how people invest in themselves. People there last night, we raised over $55,000 for the Dream Machine. to help kids who suffer from cancer and their families make their dreams come true. In the way that everyone felt when we raised all that money, if you would have seen the millions of dollars of business development that occurred, and the people who sit there and go like you, oh my gosh, it's amazing when I come to the meetups, the holding courts, the VIP dinners, the speeches, the masterminds. It's amazing the proximity of the neighborhood of people that want to help each other and know people help each other at a higher level, higher frequency, a higher vibration. They get it. But then there's the people that live in a world of not enough. And when we invite them, not obligate them, because everybody has priorities and times and families and activities, but when we invite them, they always have an excuse. Can't afford it, don't have time. You know, I get it. But if you want to make an investment in yourself and you know your timing and risk tolerance and what's being offered to you by me or by all the wonderful people in our community, then say yes and ask for a guarantee. Ask for a guarantee that's aligned with your timing and risk tolerance. And if you do that, you will win every time, and you will change the mindset of money into abundance, where you give everything, you're given even more, you receive even more, and you ask for more than more, so that you end up with more than enough of everything with everyone, instead of the zero-sum game that most people are playing. The zero-sum game is I give and I receive less. I keep giving and receiving less. Yeah, well, stay in that room, see where that gets you. Because if you give 100% and receive 99%, sooner or later, you're going to have zero to give. But if you want to get into rooms of more than enough of everything for everyone, then make the investment aligned with your timing and risk tolerance and ask for guarantees. It's that simple. And that's what, Jimmy, you have done, which is why you have so much more opportunity. And you can see now how the proximity to the neighborhood, the involvement in your own analysis of what's important to you, prioritizing the investment in you, aligned with the timing and risk tolerance, and asking for guarantees has gotten you to a better place, a better situation, and put you in a better position. And I appreciate your wisdom and faith that you've shared and emceed and host so many different events. And I encourage other people, if you want to elevate the energy, the awareness of all that's given, Jimmy is an unbelievable coach and an unbelievable MC and host. So thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate the question.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
Beautiful. Let's keep this well-oiled machine rocking and rolling. I'm going to pass it over to the one and only Julie. Julie, it's great to see you. Happy Friday. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask David your question. Welcome.
Hi, David. I adore you guys, and I'm calling in right now from Alabama. Who would have guessed? I'm dropping my son off at college, and I know you have college-age daughters, so it's bittersweet. But that being said, you know, balancing family, balancing all this stuff, and I'm having an event in Chicago in February, and I don't know anybody else better to ask this question, because you are at events 24/7. It seems like you're always flying off somewhere. And what do you see from your perspective, David, of how I can create an impactful event that changes people's lives in a way that you never realized it could change people's lives? Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
I appreciate you, and I'm happy to help as well. So there's two things to think about when you put on an event. One, ticket sales. So you need to create situations that will sell tickets or get people there. And then two, impact. And so you want to have program, people, situations that create impact that will go beyond your event, so that while they're at the event, there's enough people at the event in order for you to have another event, and it's impactful enough to create acceleration, aggregation, and compounding of your next event, to build that community, to build the neighborhood that you're looking for. And so when you look at doing that, you want to bring the right people and the right ideas that will attract the most people to come to the event, and then attract the right people and the right ideas that will have the most impact for the people who attend the event. And believe it or not, even if you don't have as many people in a first-time event that you want to have, which has happened to me and every other person that's ever put on a first-time event, then you want to make sure that the content that you create, what I call post-production content, is one in which will also exponentially create impact or a greater and bigger community in order to effectuate more people showing up virtually or in person to your next event and impact even more people. And so when we look in, my battery's about to die. So when we look at how these events happen, we look at three things in the context of getting people there, selling tickets, and two, impacting the people that arrive. And so looking at who is there in that respect, there's three values that I look at. One is experiential. When you can provide an experience that is over the top. Two, business development, so people can actually see it as a profit center to come to your event. And then three, as I mentioned, post-production content that give a perpetual life to that content or that event. So understanding that the experiential business development and post-production content, getting the right people and the right ideas to get people there to sell tickets, and then also making sure that you have the right people and the right ideas that are going to have impact in order to create the thriving of that community. That's how we do it. And my number one piece of advice, ask for help. Find people that are in the situation that you want to be in and ask them for help. Leverage and amplify their communities, their relationships. And like I said, I'm more than happy to help. We can create a structure, a framework. We can elevate and promote that within the community of what we do, how we do it, and when we do it. So reach out to us. And if anybody needs any help, david@dmeltzer.com. So thank you. It's really the basis of everything I do is exactly that framework. So thank you for asking and illustrating that for us, and we'll look forward to helping you.
Thank you, David. You're amazing. I love how that just rolls off your tongue. You know, just a question from left field that you have those three pillars. I love that.
Thank you. Well, that's practice. And so that's why I'm committed to consistent behavior, because you don't have to make it up. It's just what actually is through elevated awareness and all that I've been given. So thank you very much. And I look forward to working with you. We'll see you soon.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Julie. We appreciate you and looking forward to help and support as we can for Chicago in February. We are at the halftime mark here. So a quick reset of the room. This is, of course, BYOQ. You bring the questions. David will bring the answers, of course, with the one and only David Meltzer this morning. And with that said, let's continue to invite all of our friends, family, and colleagues. And of course, if you're on stage and have a question, please put something in the room chat. And if you would like to join the stage to ask David a question, feel free to go ahead and use that hand icon in the lower right-hand corner of your screen to request to join the stage. And David will, of course, bring you up. Now, with that said, I'm seeing a little bit of a hand wave from our friend Chima, so I think he is.
Before I wasn't but I just wanted to say, can I just say this? Public stake is David, I appreciate the way you interact. Even though I've been the one that's been bad, I've been away. I haven't done as much as I should have done. I'm sorry. But I do the fact that you always get in touch straight away, no matter what it is. Everyone here to know that David does what he says. He doesn't say it and not do it. He will do exactly what he says, and I appreciate it, because now that I'm back and back.
Ask for a full refund if you're not satisfied. So understanding how that works is really important. So this guarantee idea is, when I'm working with vendors and outsourcing and whatever, I'm aligning my guarantee with my timing and risk tolerance. So I'm not asking for things that people can't guarantee. So but I am asking for a guarantee of, hey, I want you to be engaged and make sure you're looking at this every day. So a lot of people in social media marketing, they're not going to guarantee an outcome. They're not going to guarantee ticket sales, but look, guarantee me that you're going to stay on top of this. And if you don't, I want a refund. And because my philosophy in social media marketing is that the people that are engaged and accessible, meaning, they're there working on it every day, doing what they promise, doing their best, learning lessons and having fun, are the ones that do the best. Somebody that tells me they actually know what they're doing in social media marketing, meaning they know the analytics, they know that this will work, is full of it. There's like trillions of variables involved. But I know that if somebody's engaged and accessible and on top of my content, that it's going to do better. And there's value in that. And so I ask and I provide guarantees. So anyone that I want to make sure that there's audio on this side. There is. Okay. So anyone that comes to anything of mine is guaranteed 100% for any reason, because I want to be a profit center and that's what I'm representing. And so it's not just that I'm providing overtop experience. It's not just that I'm going to give you business development and post-production content. I actually want to be a profit center. So my free Friday trainings, that's an easy one because it's free. My free book, that's an easy one. My groups on Monday, that's easy as well. It's a low cost barrier. My one-on-one coaching wait list, when you get on the one-on-one side, it's a little bit more difficult. So some people don't come off my wait list because I can't guarantee that I can be a profit center. I can guarantee I can help them. I can make them feel good. I can give them good advice. But I got to make sure that if somebody gives me $20, that they're getting, I'm a vending machine, that they're getting $100 back. But a lot of times people can't give you that guarantee, but you have to align the guarantees with the timing and risk tolerance that you have. Make them guarantee what it's going to take in order to align with that. And so whether you need to put it in writing or not, whatever it may be, you need those guarantees. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, and that just, I mean, I like to hope that I can be as gracious as you when I get things rolling, because I can sometimes be, when someone's asking for something, I can put on the blankers and say, I don't want to get involved. I don't want to do this. And I don't want to align myself with that space. And I might try and avoid them. That never works. It's always better to say to them up front and straight, this is my position. This is what I can offer you. This is what I can't offer you. And that way, they respect you more for it. And I'm learning as I grow to do it more that way than to give like false hopes or to say I'll do something that I can't do. And that's what I've learned just from the little time I've known you, David. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And we'll look forward to doing more. Come and join us. Everyone, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. We are in Dallas. We'll be at SoFi Stadium doing a mastermind with the greats in the stadium. Come and join us. And there is a cost to come to the mastermind, but it's guaranteed. And for any reason, if you don't like my outfit or my shoes, you can get all your money back. Whatever your timing and risk tolerance, I give that guarantee. So come and invest in yourself. And I promise you, if you don't invest in yourself, what are you ever going to invest in? If you want to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun, you got to make the investment in yourself, align it with your timing and risk tolerance, get the guarantees aligned with your timing and risk tolerance. Nick of Wam, you are a well-oiled machine. Let's keep this party moving. Go ahead. What's up next?
Absolutely. We're going to keep it live here on Clubhouse, and I'm going to pass it over to the one and only Robin. Robin, it's great to see you. Happy Friday. I love the smile in your profile picture. It brings a smile to my face and heart as well. But go ahead and pass the mic over to you. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask away.
Thanks for the intro, Nick. That was so sweet of you. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
All right. So recently I have been working on some awareness through different scenarios been going on recently with me. One being about the difference between sharing information, being in a vulnerable setting with my relationships, and blurring that line when feeling like a relationship with somebody is more transactional, and it's kind of one-sided, where it doesn't feel like a friendship or a good, productive relationship for me, and it's more about a transactional base where I'm giving way too much of myself in regards to what I'm receiving from them.
Yeah, so let's go through the 3 criteria that we utilize in these situations, because some relationships are transactional, but we want to analyze our relationships in 3 contexts. 1, we want to see how much a relationship is bleeding or feeding us. And in that, once we determine, okay, at what level is this relationship feeding me, or in what buckets is it feeding me, and what buckets is it bleeding me, then I want to assess, after I know the bleeding and feeding spectrum, 2, how relative is this person? Because relativity of bleeding and feeding, it can turn feeding into a blessing. So, for example, the more I feed my children, the better I feel. The more I feed my mom, who's 81, the better I feel. And so feeding and bleeding isn't necessarily good or bad. It's assessing the relativity of the feeding and bleeding according to the relationship that I have. And so in the respect of this transactional relationship, where it seems as if they feed you in one bucket but bleed you more in another bucket, and it seems to be very transactional in its relativity, you need to assess the relativity of how important that relationship, that transactional relationship is. And then you can determine the 3rd criteria, which is association. How will I associate with this person? As a transaction, meaning a vendor and seller relationship, or as a friend, or as a family member, or an employee, or an associate, or a partner, or a community member, or a fan, or an ambassador, or whatever it is your association to that person is. And in the holistic evaluation of feeding and bleeding according to the relativity and association, you then can prioritize the amount of time that you spend either committed daily to, or invariant time once in a while to, falling away, or even having to fire someone from your life. And so for me, it's a very quick analysis of understanding where and how people feed and bleed each other, and what buckets, categories, topic subjects, expertises that they have, the relativity of that bleeding and feeding, and the association of that bleeding and feeding, to determine how much time and priority I'm either going to give consistently, committed every day, or in a variant way, to allow them either to fall away or to fire them in that level of commitment that we have. And so looking towards that, it has worked for me, that framework. And if anybody would like the framework or practices that we talked about, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. It'll help you. You won't remember what I just said, right? I promise you, you will not remember what my employees who I meet with Monday, Wednesday, Friday to go over this shit don't remember what I say. So I have to be annoying, which means I have to be honest and tell you you're not going to remember what I just said. And I have to be annoying and be repetitive and go through this stuff again and again and again. And so if you email me and just have it there to practice and look down at it and say, oh yeah, it was feeding and bleeding, relativity and association, in which to incorporate the amount of time that I prioritize in my daily practices, either committed, consistent behavior, which is 90% of my success, or variant behaviors aligned with good and bad, good being in alignment with the divine direction, understanding divine detours and divine time. Bad is that which interferes with it. There's no way that you're going to remember all this. It sounds good. It makes you feel good. It resonates with you. It seems like genius, but it needs practice. And so please, it's free. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com, and I'll send you this so you can put it next to your computer or carry it to look down at when you forget, because people will forget. I've been doing this 17 and a half years, almost 18 years, and sometimes I forget the 5 daily practices or my incentives or values or whatever it is, my execution model, all these different frameworks that I have. I use this to practice, so you need to as well. All right, Nick of One, our webinar, which we've been doing for almost 25 years. We've been doing trainings. Coming October, it'll be 25 years. That's the golden anniversary. It's longer than Nick's been alive, by the way. I've been training people officially in these free trainings. We're going to take one more question on the webinar and then continue the Breakfast of Champions until the end of the hour. I'm going to take a question, Nick. I know you prioritize sleep. How do you keep a consistent routine with traveling? One, I ask for help. I have a sleep coach for 17 and a half years who helps me understand time zones, light, food, temperature, etc., to make sure that I'm in a position to recover and access information even when I'm traveling. Two, I reverse engineer my day of when and what time I want to wake up while I'm traveling in order to facilitate an unwinding routine incorporated by the coaching and mentorship that I have to make sure I'm in a position to recover and access information in order to utilize that recovery and information the next day to plateau and grow, which was an earlier question. My number one priority, which is incorporated into my priority of health, knowing that if I'm healthy, I get as many wishes and asks as I want. If I'm unhealthy, I only have one wish and one ask. My priority in my health routine, which is my number one non-negotiable, committed to every single day, giving me 90% of my results, outcomes, divine direction, and divine time with the divine detours that happen every day, is sleep. And so I have an unwinding routine that allows me to plateau and grow so that I get a minimum of 7 hours of sleep incorporated with another minimum of an hour a day on my health. So a third of my day is on my health because of the priority of health, the non-negotiable of health. And so if you don't prioritize your sleep, you may be interfering with a third of your life. A third of your life interfering, meaning it's bad behavior. It's interfering with your potential, your higher self, where you want to be or better. If you want to instead turn that upside down and use sleep as a good behavior aligned with where you want to be or better, are you one of the majority of the people on earth that go to bed at night and wake up more tired in the morning? That's like eating for 2.5 hours, eating for 8 hours, waking up and being hungry. I'm not waking up, eating and finishing the meal and being hungry. It doesn't make sense. Prioritize your sleep, get help, reach out to me. I'm happy to share my sleep coach with you, my sleep tips with you, david@dmeltzer.com. Everybody on the webinar, thank you so much. This has been the Hour of Power, almost 25 years. Please come join me at SoFi Stadium next week. We will be also in Nashville. Come and join us there. We will be in Las Vegas. We'll be in Orange County. VIP dinner the next week. We'll be in Arizona on the Spire Tour. Sounds like Ramon's going to be there. So Tim Story and myself, all types of unbelievable people. It's the #1 business tour. I'm there every month. Come and see me in Phoenix. Join me, david@dmeltzer.com. If you want to be alerted to all of the places we are, 949-298-2905. It'll alert you with everywhere. That's what I use to remind me where I need to be. And I need to get going to get on stage here at AmpCon. Thank you, everyone, for our training. Stay online for the clubhouse. We still got about 14 minutes there. Remember, most importantly, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Hit it, Jesus.